Welcome back to Checkmate with Blake, and in this video I'm going to give you guys 5 pawn rules that you must understand to improve your chess. Now this is the very last video of the series. We've done one on the knight, we've done one on the bishop, we've done on the rook and the queen, and even the king. So the pawn is the very last one we have to cover to teach you guys how to improve your chess. And as a reminder, the point of this series is that in any position you should know what the best move you should play is based on just following these simple rules of each piece. If you haven't seen those other videos, go check those out. Those are very helpful. They'll teach you guys how to improve your chess and win more games. Again, this video is focusing on the pawn, and I have 5 different lessons I'm going to teach you guys to improve your chess. We'll go ahead and get started. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, go ahead and do that. We recently passed 2,000 subscribers. We're actually about to pass 2,100 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. If you haven't joined the community, go ahead and do that. Hit the subscribe button and give this video a like if you don't mind. It helps promote the video and it helps promote the page as well. Thank you guys for watching. We'll go ahead and get started. The very first one is a lesson that a lot of beginners misunderstand, but a lot of intermediate and advanced players do play automatically. Of course, all 5 of these lessons will get a little bit more advanced as we go through, but I just want to really increase your knowledge of the pawns. So the first lesson is that you should use your pawns to control the center. A lot of beginners will make mistakes when they're playing chess and they'll play other moves that don't control the center, but your pawns belong in the center. You want to dominate the board and control the center of the board. So, using that tip, obviously the move is going to be just pushing this pawn to d4 to control the center and to tempo this bishop. Now you will notice, of course, they'll give this check, so their bishop still is alive. Of course, here you'll just play the move pawn c3, and you will further tempo the bishop, and you have excellent control of the center in this position. The very next one, I want to talk about connected pass pawns in the endgame. I want to just increase your knowledge of this. First of all, what are pass pawns and what are connected pass pawns? Well, a pass pawn means that there's no pawn or no piece that's blocking this pawn from promotion. Actually means no pawn is blocking this piece. So, because of this, these are passed pawns. They are 2 squares away from promotion too, which makes these pawns especially strong. What's even better is they're connected pass pawns. If you look at this position, you may think, well, maybe I'd rather play black because black has a rook, so black should be winning, as this is worth 5 points of material and these are only worth 1 apiece. So this is only 3 points versus 5, 6 points of material. However, these 2 passed pawns are actually much stronger than this rook, and you will actually win this game with these 2 connected passed pawns. How do you do that? Well, of course, they're looking to attack this pawn and win the game. Of course, you can push this pawn, and if they were to capture here, you would promote to a queen and you would win this game. So by simply using these 2 pieces, using this leverage that you have on the board, you can push this pawn because black is not in time to capture this one. Now here, don't be quick and just try to promote the pawn to win the game. Instead, now use your connected pass pawns to support each other. Okay, so now black is trying to bring their king and trying to stop our pawns, and it looks like maybe they're in time to do it. However, now we can actually push this pawn, because if they capture here, which is their only move really, now we would play this move and promote to a queen and win this game. So connected pass pawns are very strong, and that's what you want to have in the endgame. Now this third lesson is very misunderstood, but it's that pawns can support checkmate. When you look at this position, again, black is up so much material, you would think that black is winning. However, notice we are attacking this pawn here. Can we add more pressure to it? Yes, we can. By using our pawn, we can actually play this move, which would be a checkmate threat if we were to be able to capture right here. Instead, though, they played this move to try and block this checkmate, but it doesn't stop here. Now you play this move queen h6, and you're threatening a checkmate here on g7, and black actually cannot stop this checkmate no matter what move they play. So in this position, you just have a checkmate. Use your pawns to support checkmate. Don't forget that the pawns can be attacking pieces. Lesson number 4 I want to talk about is that pawns, you should use your pawns to unleash hidden attacks. When you look at this position, you see that we have great central control, and you may not want to push these pawns. However, what you should also notice is that these bishops and this queen are looking at the enemy's king. Now, you may be tempted to push this pawn to unleash this bishop. However, there's an even better threat, because what you should notice is that we have the queen and the bishop both together looking at this square, and if we could take on g7, it would actually be a checkmate. So how can we do that? Well, you then notice, of course, if we push the d-pawn, not only are we threatening checkmate, but we're also threatening to capture their knight and potentially their bishop if they allow us to do that. So, of course, the move is to play the move d5, because by playing d5, now we are attacking this knight and also threatening a checkmate here on g7. So use your pawns to unleash hidden attacks. The very last one is a very important thing that everyone should understand. And it's that your rooks in the end game, if you have a rook and a passed pawn, you should use your rooks to support the pawn promotion. That should be your main goal. Because actually, in this position, black cannot hold this game. Black cannot win this game. And the reason being is because we are so close to promotion. So, how do we aid this promotion of the pawn? Well, first of all, go ahead and push the pawn. Try and get this pawn to promote. Now, of course, black has to stop the pawn. So they play this move to try and blockade the pawn. That's a pretty common tactic you'll see. Of course, it is not going to save them the game because now we can use our other rook to actually support promotion. So how do we do that? We'll play this move rook b8, forcing them to capture, because if they move the king, we would capture the queen and then just move the rook and promote. But instead, they have to capture. So we sacrifice the rook to promote the pawn. So we put the rook in a place where the pawn can take back. Now, after we capture, we will take and we will win this game. Now, this video is fairly short, but I want to keep it short for you guys. And the reason being is because the 5 pawn rules are fairly easy to understand, but these are things that you should master. Of course, I've done one with the knight, the bishop. If you haven't seen those videos, go check those ones out. I'll attach some links at the very end of this video. If you stay tuned, you'll see how to improve by using the knight, the bishop, etc., and all those other pieces. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. Join the community. Thank you guys so much for your support in the last few days, last few weeks, and for those who have been here in the last 6 months since we started the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, give this video a like if you did enjoy this content. Thank you guys.